What is a seemingly mundane question you can ask someone that will tell you a lot about their personality? Disagree with something they said? Anything. See how they respond. How someone handles disagreements or arguments, especially when a woman disagrees with a man, says a lot about them. And how they will talk to you in the future. This obviously doesn't include stuff like it's okay to people or racism doesn't exist just to disagree with them. Their perspective of mental, not about whether they experience issues. It's about how they think of their own well-being, other people's well-being, empathy, self-care, support, etc. What do you do with the cart at the grocery store once you get your bags out of it? I ask, what would you do if you won a huge jackpot in the lottery? Most people haven't read that huge comment about how winning the lottery ruins your life, so they give you answers about saving for a house/going back to school, starting their dream business, buying nice things for their family/friends, finally going on their dream vacation. So you can learn about a person's dreams, aspirations, values, etc. Or you can learn about their creativity. For example, when I asked my students this question with a specific number and a boy responded with exact number for $4 for $5 specials he'd buy for his brothers with his winnings. How do you spend your free time? Easy way to find common ground and find out their passions and priorities. What's their favorite book? Sounds weird, but it works. What is something that fascinates you? This question is good at getting to what interests people and determining if we have things in common, and if they are more creative/analytical. Sometimes I find people who aren't fascinated by anything. If you could pick one person from history to spend 24 hours with, who would you pick? Is probably my's to pick 3 bands for their own personal concert. What do you think of Taylor Swift? This used to be my opening line on dating apps. While I'm not a Swiftie myself, people's attitudes towards her says a lot about. Example, if they say something like, "She's just not my type," then that's fine. I personally don't like her music. If they proceed to shame or talk about how she writes music, that's a red flag. Do you like cats? I do not trust anyone who is aggressively anti-cat. Preferring dogs, sure. But you hate cats? I think this is an important measure of people's empathy and degree of gentleness. Cats require a softer touch, and I'm wary of anyone who doesn't have allergies or something else entirely. What type of Tupperware do you have? What did you do during the pandemic? How would you like to be remembered after your death? Or what is the most important thing you want people to say on your funeral? It'll show you their core values right then and there. I had a couple. What's your favorite Christmas memory? Or who was your first ever crush? The answer themselves don't matter, of course. What I'm fishing for is sensitivity. Do they give you a curt answer and move on? Or do their eyes glaze over as they remember Grandpa Bob getting them a toy truck when they were 6? Or Susie Lee, the pretty kindergartner that sat next to them in class? How soft do they let themselves feel their feelings? Who is a female role model that didn't play a part in raising you that you aspire to? Who's your role model? Nothing more telling than finding out who a person is trying to emulate. There can be layers to it, from financial goals to relationship expectations to why they picked a certain haircut. What are your thoughts on the white male privilege? I am POC and lately I have been on dates with white cis men, and this is a good question to out the racists and the sexists. Yes. I always say you can tell so much about a person when they get told no, or don't get their way. Yes, seconded. I went through a phase of saying I wasn't available for their first date suggestion to see how they'd handle it. Actually weeded out quite a fair few people it would never have worked out with. That question doesn't seem mundane to me. What does that say about me? Put that card back. As a kid, I was a card collector for one of my first jobs. Taught me immediately not to be lazy. Plus a few extra steps are a bonus. I cannot stand lazy people, and this is big proof of laziness. Especially when there is a cart corral next to where people dump their carts. 2 steps, Debbie. If they race with them even if they are in their ADR keeper. You can tell a lot about a person observing what they do with their shopping cart in the parking lot. Greater than most people haven't read that huge comment about how winning the lottery ruins your life. Yeah, they have, they just don't believe it. I'd fail this because I'd forget absolutely everything I'm interested in if someone asked me this. To add, cats actually teaches their owners with boundaries more than dogs. If a cat doesn't want to be touched, you gotta respect that, or they will either bite, not in an aggressive way, or stop you with their paws. My cat, while demand cuddles and attention, clearly tells me when he doesn't want it and wants to spend time his boxes. Lol. Yes. Cats are also big on consent. I agree with this. The reasons for their hate of cats were they don't care about you and are aloof. Not true. They don't do what you say. Pretty true. They bite when you them off. Yeah, so do all animals. The people I have met that truly hate cats also have huge egos and tend to be controlling. In family, controlling and abusive. It's hard to control a cat and they'd rather have pets they can command. Ooh, this is a good one. My life experience backs this up big time. Enjoy with caution. My boyfriend kept saying he loves cats and animals are his Achilles heel. He grew up with cats in the house for years. I believed have been together for over 2 years now and have had cats of our own for a few months. When I saw how he sometimes deals with the animals, I had my loves animals, but when I ask him to bring out a spider, he prefers to squish and never did anything bad to the cats. But often addressed them with insults instead of names, often got on the cat's nerves. Didn't always respect the animal's boundaries, like carrying them to bed even though the cat didn't want to. He makes the cat's silence threatening when they mess up. He ignores them when he's mad at the cats. When the cat meows and wants to play, he's usually too busy and chooses to ignore it rather than attend to the cat's needs. But weeks later he says to me we should take care of the cats. Moore told me how not to grab the cat, because I never had some before. Only to do it himself afterwards. He said it was not good for the often think if he loves me like he loves cats, then I'm because someone says they love animals doesn't mean they know what love is. The question is good but don't listen to their words, watch their behavior. IDGAF. I'm dead. What does that say about me? Smile. If they don't show much emotion or don't want to tell you about personal things that may not seem very personal to you, it doesn't mean they're lacking in sensitivity or don't let themselves feel their feelings. Sometimes those who stone-face things are swimming in their own emotions behind the development and retention and the ability to call up singular memories to process them enough for them to tell someone else's variable and deficiencies in those things are caused by many memories may literally not exist to tell. That's a weird one. I'm a woman and I don't have any role models outside of my family. I aspire to be like my mom, not like some random famous lady who I've never met. If anything, it's weird to have role models who are strangers to you. You don't really know them, just the list of their achievements, and they can still be people. What is the verdict on people who don't have a role model in general? I honestly wouldn't know what to say to this because I don't aspire to be like anyone specifically. This is such a great question. Men rarely look up to women. This will say a lot about a guy. I think this isn't a fair question BC. For many people it doesn't even occur to them to have a role model. I've asked some of my friends and they stated they don't have a role model and basically just want to be the best version of themselves. I'm confused. How do you build a conversation on that? It'd be like asking what are your thoughts on systemic racism? Yeah, it sucks and it shouldn't exist, but it does, and we should work towards kicking it to the curb. Or is more intended to be a filter question so people that deny it exists can self-select? I asked to change the venue by like 1 block, or the time by less than 1 hour. Still coffee or whatever it was, just a different shop or 20 meters later. With lots of notice, not sprung in the day of. You wouldn't believe how many people this weeded out. That maybe you're young? The older you get, the more likely you talk about health like it's the weather. Race? Nah. You got to get a run up, jump on the back and go wee the whole way to the cart park. I've started telling people right off the bat that this is what my brain does when asked questions like this. Unobserved, this brain has a million interests. Observed, this brain is super smooth. Cats are extremely picky and show their sensitivity more so than dogs. To be accepted by a cat is high praise indeed. Greater than they are don't care about you and are aloof. I have found people who don't like cats for this reason are not prepared to spend any time getting to know an animal, so are possibly less open or empathic. Many dogs will be friends with anyone, my old dog was one. And many cats want to learn whether you are trustworthy first. Plus, each animal has its own personality, so whether you will be great friends or just acquaintances depends on this. And most people prejudiced against cats are not going to spend time learning about that cat, what it likes, nor about basic cat behavior and nonverbal communication. If an animal won't adapt and communicate in human ways, those people just won't make an effort. I see it as a personality flaw.